Okay, so today I want to build a 3D version of Dixie in his kitchen baking. This is the image I'm going to work from. This is an idea I had a while ago and just drew on one flat piece of paper. But today I want to build him on a 3D in a 3D version. I was actually hoping to show you Dixie's house. I have a huge, big version of the house that it shows the rooms and it stands high and how it sits in the tree, but I have no idea what I did with the illustration. So we're just going to go straight inside Dixie's kitchen today. It happens to be my birthday, and I know most people like birthday cake on their birthdays. I like apple pie. I love apple pie. I love blueberry pie too. I love pie, but apple pie is my favorite. I don't have any. I don't have any apple pie. So I'm gonna do a picture of my little friend Dixie baking me a pie. Dixie, once again, is a character from the books I've been working on, Stories from Scootertown, one of several. Dixie is very gregarious, thoughtful, a little selfish, but really well-meaning. So he's layered. He has characteristics that most people have. On the whole, he is a very giving character and brings things to his neighbors and does things for his neighbors. So today I'm going to pretend that Dixie is baking me a pie. That's going to make me feel a little bit less alone on my birthday. Now, as I said before too, I usually use a nice heavy paper, Bristol paper, but today we're going to go with what we have, which is old scrap paper, printout paper from my job. Which I took home so I could use it to do sketches on. So I got an 8.5 by 11 just standard piece of printing paper, and we're going to start off drawing Dixie the way we did the other day in another video. He is basically two large circles, almost the same size but not quite. There he is. There's his body. That's Dixie. Dixie also has a little plume of feathers that come up in the center of his head, and as you can see, I put the plume just slightly off to the side. So he's going to have a more playful look when we're all done. Like he's kind of cocking his head and giggling and saying, "Wee, I made this." I've added a set of glasses. We're just drawing this in with pencil right now. There's his glasses. As you can see, they're kind of on the, kind of tilted, not straight up and down, not straight across, kind of tilted, like his body. Okay? He's a curvy T. That's what he is, a curvy T. Now we're going to add a beak, which is nothing more than a few triangles. Okay. But we're going to have his beak open a little bit. So we're going to add another triangle down at the bottom. Maybe this will become more clear as we ink it in. Okay. I'm going to have his wing coming around like an arm holding the pie. And then another wing holding a mixing spoon. Okay, these are very simple lines. We've got a backward C. We've got this curvature of a line, just a slight line, oval, line, line. Pretty easy stuff. At least I think so. His legs are just a couple of lines. Okay. I think we'll add the pie and Dixie's apron on afterwards once we get a little further along. Ooh, I forgot his eyeball. No, we don't want it there. There. So he's circle, 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 oval, oval to circle, oval to circle, backward C, slight U right there, stick, stick, knee, stick, oval, line, line, and then the mouth is basically made up of rectangles. Okay, let's ink this in. I'm going to use my brush pen again. You take what you have. Remember, the lines don't have to be perfect. We're not stressing out. This is just fun. Okay, see? Some of the lines don't even meet on my drawing. There's his glasses. See? Oval, line. The spoon is very similar. Oval, two lines. See that? His arm, his right arm, just one line. Well, you know, a simple shape, let's put it that way. And then the rest of his body. Actually is going to be hidden behind the apron, but I'm drawing it anyway. Now his legs I'm going to take from one stick to two lines and a little knee in the middle. Just a little bump for a knee. The same on his left leg. Two lines, a little bump for a knee. And then two more lines bringing it down. That's it. Oh, we got to get his beak. Right, now watch. Triangle. Triangle. It's just line, line, curvy line, and curvy line. That's it. It's the top half of his beak. Bottom half is, let me see if you can see this. Curvy line. Curvy line. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then his plume, which I'm going to start with a thin line on top, go into a big line. And you can do it any way you like. And there's Dixie. I'm going to darken up his eyes a little bit with a thinner pen. And it's just lines going through those circles that are his eyes. Just lines. That's all it is. Okay. Ooh, I forgot the ear part of his glasses. Just one line. All right, you can erase the pencil if you like. I'm not going to. I'm just going to start cutting him out. Again, not cutting right into the black line, kind of cutting around it. Now we don't have feet on Dixie yet, because Dixie likes to wear his slippers when he's at home. A lot of people take their shoes off before they go in the house. Dixie wears roller skates when he's not in the house, for the most part. So he's taken his roller skates off. And he puts on his fluffy slippers because they're comfortable and they make him happy. That's what we want to be, is happy. Do our best. Okay, I'm cutting out his plume. Look at how quickly that goes and how wide my cut is. I made it wide. Right, that's it. Here he is, silly little Dixie. Silly little Dixie. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're going to make little slippers for him. And the slippers are nothing more than an oval. But they're going to be fuzzy slippers. Hang on a sec. What we're using, sorry I get distracted by the phone. What we're using are little scrap pieces of paper, because we don't want to waste anything. So there's the basis for his slippers. Just little ovals. Just little ovals. Okay. But we're going to do this. We've got the entryway for his ankle right there with that line. Now we're going to draw fuzzies all the way around our oval. Just going to give the idea of fuzzies. That's it. Okay. We're going to do roughly the same thing on the other pair. I'm not worried about the lines. I'm not worried about where they are or if they're perfect. Because it's all going to work in the end. It will. Oh, my tummy hurts. A chicken sandwich, another one of my favorite things. My tummy said don't eat that much, and I did. I don't eat bread, but I had rye bread. My tummy doesn't want me to eat any bread. But my mouth said, this sounds delicious. Let's do that. Okay. Let me see something. Notice I'm not worried about which slipper goes on which foot. I was originally going to go, that is so funny. I was originally going to have this slipper on this foot, but it's okay to try it out on the other foot too and just see what works. And actually that's kind of cute. That's a little bit cuter. So I'm going to cut that off. Okay. By that I meant the end of his leg where I had that extra paper. Cut that off. cut the extra piece of white paper off, sorry. So it would look like Dixie's leg was going in the slipper, but you know what, I'm thinking something. Maybe we want, no, I had it right to begin with. Go like this. I'm a little scattered. I don't get many phone calls. My phone rang. I wonder who it was. There we go. So there's Dixie without his apron, but getting ready to bake us, or somebody we love, a pie. Now we're going to give Dixie an apron, and we're going to give him a silly apron. It's an apron that makes him happy. And again, easy peasy lemon squeezy, using a piece of scrap paper. And I'm not, you notice I'm not tracing. I'm not particularly worried about everything being formally correct. I'm also not worried about criticism. I don't know why I'm saying that. I guess because what people thought used to really bother me. But now, it's okay. Now I know criticism is other people's monsters coming out for a little visit to tell them how horrible they are. So don't worry about it. All right, there's Dixie's apron. Look at it. It's a triangle with a funny shaped triangle underneath and ruffles. We're going to hold it up. That's how they're going to work together. Okay? It'll be a little bit clearer once I pen this in, once we ink this in. So we get a line, 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 because that's where he ties it across his tummy, line. This is the part that hangs down to roughly his knees, or a little above the bottom part. It's always a little bit bigger than the top part. Now we're going to add ruffles. Just like the slippers, this is just lines. These are just going to be squiggly lines, like we've used in shrubbery before, or in bushes. These are just ruffles. Fun little silly ruffles. Ooh, I shouldn't have eaten out that entire sandwich. All right, that's it. Just squiggly lines going around it. You can always add other things. You can add flowers if you like. You can add all kinds of detail if you like. In this illustration, I just added little circles as decoration. But this one I'm just going to leave plain for now. Now we'll just cut it out. And I'm not cutting into absolutely every little ruffle. Let me make sure you can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of cutting around it a lot, giving the indication of detail, but without getting too worried about detail. Dixie's got an apron. Dixie is very silly. And I'm trying to place this a little bit lower on, I don't want to lose his leg though. He's got such, see, he's just too cute. So he can wear the apron or not. That's completely up to you. This can always be put aside for another time if you like. You don't have to glue it or tape it down. It is all up to you. I'm going to put just a tiny bit of glue on mine. Just a couple of little spots of glue. Like that. He's silly. And I think too, because I've decided to put the spots of glue down, I'm just going to draw two little lines where Dixie would have the tie that goes across the front of the apron, goes around his tummy. And in my original illustration, I had the bow on the back, but I'm not going to get that detailed into it right now. All right, what we're going to do now, because he can't stand up. He cannot stand up on his own like this. Even if we use toilet paper rolls, it's just not going to look right. So I want to try something else. In the middle of Dixie's kitchen is a rug. Right there. So I'm going to make that rug. And that we can use on the bottom to help hold him up. So what we're going to do is, let's see this. We're going to make it bigger than in my original picture. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. And we're going to make it into an oval. Like that. So Dixie is going to be in the middle. He's going to, well, he'll probably end up at the edge of the rug. This is a throw rug. What we're going to make is a braided rug, what they called a braided rug. When I was little, I grew up in a very old house, and we had rugs called braided rugs. It's where people, like my grandma, would take pieces of material and braid them together like hair, and sew them all together, sew all these braids together, and then roll them up into a rug. It's a little hard to explain. But so I remember how they feel. And they used to, well, they feel like home to me, is how braided rugs feel. So what we're going to do, this is a little confusing. All right, if you watched, I made the oval, then I made a line here, and connected those two lines. Yes? Then I connected the top of these two lines. These are not going to stay. This is all going to change, but for right now, line, line, connect with an oval, connect with an oval, line, line, connect with an oval, connect with an oval, line, line, connect with an oval, and then don't connect here. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a trick, but we're going to start making this look like, how to explain it, like yarn or like fabric that's been rolled and rolled and rolled. I don't know how to explain it, so we're just going to go ahead and do it. So we've got this end all connected, this end is not. We're going to take this, okay, watch, and do that. We're going to erase that line. That comes around. Now we're going to take this line and connect it like that. So we're making another oval line right there. And we're going to erase our original line. See? Now we're going to take this line and connect it like that. Take this line and connect it like that. That's the end of the braids right there. So this was like one long snake, like you make with Play-Doh. One long snake, if it were real, one long snake and all rolled up. All those braids rolled up like you do with Play-Doh. So even if you don't understand what I'm trying to say or do, I want you to just go ahead and copy me. Okay? First, we're going to start with the lines we just made, right? There's our center line, connected in a new way to the next line, connected to the new way and to the next line, connected the new way to the next line. Oops, there we go. And it just goes on and on. Boop. Well, that went in a funny way. I had a bump in the cardboard underneath. There's where it ends. But we still got the rest of the outside to do. There we go. That wasn't too confusing. That's how Dixie's going to stand on it. But first we're going to add some more lines. Now, although this is braided like hair, where there would be 1, 2, 3, it would be all crisscrossy and stuff. We're not going to do crisscrossy and stuff because that's going to get too complicated. We're just going to do lines. We're just going to do lines. They can be perfectly straight. They can be curvy. What I like to do, though, is turn the rug. So I'm thinking about putting the lines in other directions while I'm turning it. Helps me to think. We're just going to keep making lines. These lines remind me of how braided rugs feel on your feet. They're lumpy and bumpy. And uneven. They're not perfect. They used to be made by family members when they had old shirts and old sweaters and things, and they didn't want to throw them away. They wanted to use the material for something else. So grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles, all kinds of people, neighbors, used to make rugs. sometimes together, sometimes alone. But they'd make rugs out of what they had instead of throwing them away. Because they couldn't always buy new things. And honestly, I like old things better than new things. I always have, ever since I was little. I like old clothes. I like old things. They make me think about the people who might have owned them. Make up stories. So there we are. There's our rug. That's our pretend braided rug. Now I'm going to cut it out. And again, I'm leaving space between the cut, where the edge that the scissors make, and the lines. I want a little bit of space. Oop. There. Oh. I want the bottom kind of flat, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I want to take off. Here's the pink eraser I was looking for the other day. That's the pink eraser I buy at dollar store. This one is a professional fancy eraser that I've used a lot too, but I actually like pink erasers better. They remind me of art class when I was growing up. They help my head to relax when I'm working. Another trick I have. Okay. Poor Dixie, he's all lines now too. Let's get a few off his face. Now, I'm going to mention this again. You didn't have to put the apron on Dixie. You can always take, and whether you did or you didn't, let's put it that way. You can always take this and photocopy it. You can put it on your copying machine if you have one, and you can make copies, and that way you can cut it out, you can color him, you can cut him out, you can redesign him, you can do all kinds of things with the copies later if you want to do it. Same thing with the rug. So then you don't have just one. Yeah, or you may want to redo them. You may want to do them fresh over and over again. All right, so we're going to take little Dixie and we're going to glue him to the rug, like that. He is so ridiculous. I love him. And the way we drew this, it should look like it's kind of going into the background just a little bit. Or it'll make your head think that. I'm going to glue them on. If you only have tape, use tape. If you have glue, use glue. You just do the best you can with what you have. You don't really want to... Ooh, there's all that glue way up there. I don't want his feet all the way to the bottom. I want him... Oops, I want to show off the rug we made. Some of it. Okay, that's kind of fun. All right, now I'm going to make my little Dixie. Actually, he looks even sillier like that. With my glue stick, I can pick it up and change it if I so decide. You can even, speaking of photocopying, you can even photocopy that. And then you have it for later if you want to color it again and do it again. We have more we're going to be doing for this, but we'll finish that in another video. First, we're going to go back to our toilet paper roll, because we have many of them, don't we? Or a neighbor does, or somebody does. Now we can glue it to the toilet paper roll. If you don't have an empty toilet paper roll, we're just going to grab, you don't even have to glue this to anything at all, but if you don't have an empty toilet paper roll, we're going to take a piece of paper, another piece of scrap paper, or an old envelope, or whatever you have. We'll roll it up. And put some glue on it, or tape. That might be too big, a little too big. There, roll it up like that. So now we have like a toilet paper roll. Okay. We're going to glue it to the back of Dixie, or tape it to the back of Dixie. Dixie and his kitchen rug. Oh my gosh, we forgot the pie. Oh my goodness, I forgot the pie. There's Dixie standing up and no pie. What are we going to do? We're going to make a pie. Take another piece of scrap paper. Okay, I should have done this before I made the... Here, let's take that off. Just for a sec. Carefully doesn't stick. That was my mistake. I apologize. So I'm going to fit the pie. He's going to be holding on to the pie in his under his arm like that, so we get to see it. Okay, so it's going to be about that size. You're going to measure it and you're fine. However this works out, it's fine. So you're going to measure it so it kind of sits in his arms like that. Poor Dixie. Stick him back on. Oh, he's so silly. I'm going to take my brush pen, my very fancy brush pen. Now, along the edge of the pie, along the edge of this oval that we have, where the pie is supposed to fit in his arm, or under his arm, in his wing, we're going to draw lines like the ruffle of his apron, where they're squiggly, like that. Okay? Because pies have squiggly edges, just like that. Okay, see it? We're going to make a line, because the pie also sits inside of a pan. And that it's going to have a little bit of a pan shape. That crust on top is going to have the indications of a pie tin. And that's what those two brackets or lines are. And we're going to put a couple of dots in the middle, because when you make a pie, you have to poke it with a fork or something so that air can come out, so heat can come out. And that helps the pie to cook. So I'm going to put down 1, 2, 3, 4 more circles using my small pen. Okay. That's going to allow heat to get out when the pie has been cooking. I didn't give him a... Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I didn't give him a pie tin. It's not really clear what it is. I'm not going to worry about it. It's my pie. My friend has made it for me, or for someone that he loves, or someone I love. And that's all that matters. Okay. Cut it out. And we're going to glue it in. We're just going to glue it or tape it in. There we go. That's Dixie. Oh, Dixie. You're so funny. I'm just going to reposition him real quick. Maybe I put too much glue on the tie, but it's okay. Oop. All right, my friends. All right, my little friends. There we go. There he is. We did it. Okay, when I come back on my next video, we'll build the kitchen or the backdrop for this, and that'll be super fun. You know what? In one of the other videos, I suggested that we add an extra piece of paper to help the character's head hold up. However, in that video, I used glue and that made everything pucker. The wetness from the glue made the paper pucker. This one I'm going to use tape. If you don't have tape, don't worry about it. The world won't end. Nothing bad will happen. But it's just an option. This is all about play. This isn't about, you know, serious, very serious work. Dixie, stop being silly. We're serious. Now you can also, if you decide to, you can, like I said earlier, you can add flowers. You can actually add lines on his apron for ruffles to make it more detailed. It's all up to you what you want to do. Anyway, when we come back, part 2, we'll be building the kitchen around him. Okay? It'll be easy. Don't worry. All right, ciao. Say ciao, Dixie. Ciao.